You know that sinking feeling when you realize you're running out of time? When the words you've been holding back for decades start burning a hole in your chest, and suddenly your parents' gray hair looks a little more silver, their steps a little slower? Maybe you've been there too, watching the calendar pages flip while important conversations remain trapped behind your fear. Sarah Martinez had been carrying the same 3 words for 40 years. 3 simple words that felt heavier than mountains. It started when she was 8 years old, standing in their cramped Chicago apartment kitchen. Her father Miguel was hunched over the sink washing dishes from his double shift at the factory. His calloused hands moved methodically, the same hands that had crossed borders and broken his back building a life for his family. Sarah tugged at his worn work shirt, wanting to tell him about her perfect spelling test, about how proud she was to be his daughter. But Miguel was exhausted, stressed about rent, about putting food on the table. "Not now, Mia, Daddy's tired." That moment crystallized into a pattern. Sarah learned to swallow her words, to make herself small, to never burden her hard-working father with her emotions. She watched him sacrifice everything, work himself to the bone, all while maintaining his quiet dignity. But somewhere along the way, the distance between them grew wider than the Rio Grande he'd once crossed. Years blurred together. Sarah excelled in school, became the first in her family to graduate college, then law school. She built a successful practice, bought her own house, everything her father had dreamed of for her. But through graduations, promotions, even her wedding day, those 3 words stayed locked inside. Her father would nod approvingly at her achievements, shake hands formally, but they never broke through that invisible wall they'd built together. Miguel never learned to express emotions the way Sarah needed. He showed love through sacrifice, through the lunch money he slipped into her backpack, through working extra shifts to pay for her textbooks. But Sarah craved the words, the hugs, the "I'm proud of you" that never came naturally to a man who'd been taught that survival mattered more than sentiment. As Sarah approached her 40s, watching her own daughter grow up, she started seeing things differently. She noticed how easily "I love you" flowed between her and little Emma. She realized that her father's stoic love wasn't absence of feeling, it was his only language. Then came the phone call that changes everything. Miguel, now 72, had suffered a minor heart attack. Sarah rushed to the hospital, her hands shaking on the steering wheel, those 3 words pounding in her ears like a heartbeat. She found him in the cardiac unit, looking smaller than she'd ever seen him. Machines beeped around his bed, and for the first time in decades, Miguel looked vulnerable. His weathered face brightened when she walked in, and Sarah saw something she'd missed all these years. The way his eyes lit up wasn't just recognition, it was pure joy. She was his pride, his greatest accomplishment, even if he'd never known how to say it. "I love you, Papa." Miguel, in his own quiet way, says, "Yo también te amo, mija, I always have." They spent the next hour talking like they never had before. Miguel shared stories about his childhood in Mexico, about how scared he'd been raising a daughter in America, about how every day he'd worried he wasn't enough for her. Sarah told him about all the moments she'd wanted to hug him, all the times she'd needed to hear that she mattered to him. Here's what I learned from Sarah's story, and what I hope you'll remember. Love doesn't always speak the same language. Sometimes it wears work boots and carries lunch pails. Sometimes it shows up as sacrifice instead of words, but that doesn't make it less real. Don't wait 40 years to bridge the gap. Don't let pride or fear rob you of connection. Because time, the one thing we can never get back, has a way of running out when we least expect it.